So this time I'm doing a roast of some Sweet Maria's New Classic Espresso blend, and I started this up right about 280. I'm going to get my audible alerts to start looking at my
check variac voltage.
Variac voltage,
check
right?
Variac voltage.
And that also tells me when I need to note these milestones. So 6 minutes. So this roast is pretty much following identical to the background here. That's the last time I roasted this, which was actually on July 4th. So again, this is a relatively slow roast. Goes for 2.5 minutes after the start of first crack. So I get first crack about 10:30 and the roast ends around 13 minutes. So this is one of the components I use for my espresso or latte blend. Just a random batch of coffee from Sweet Maria's, and I've roasted this before. It's a good choice. My other alternative is to just use my own leftover coffees. Oh, and I guess I should go ahead and turn on my Delta BT curve here, since it looks pretty wacky at the beginning. But you can see this has a fairly slow drop, and it's extremely flat at the end as well, so I don't have any sort of weird bump in the rate of rise near the end of the roast. So this thing typically hits first crack around, excuse me, yeah, I already said that. So my next thing I'm waiting for, which is when the power is going to be automatically adjusted by this software, is about 8 minutes and 10 seconds or so, so it's coming up. That's when I'm within a couple of minutes of first crack. Then I drop the power and bump up the fan. So right now I've got 25% fan, 90% power as shown over here. So I'll let this next audible alert come up. So there I go. Well, 8:05 for that one. So that's actually 5 seconds faster than last time.
Check Variac voltage. Check Variac voltage.
Based on my notes. And I'll go ahead and get rid of my extraneous event that I have here. The 50% thing that I don't really care about. That's really just to wake me up if I'm, napping towards the beginning of the roast. So I'll have first crack in about 2 minutes, so I've reduced the power to 80%. When I get to first crack, it'll reduce it again to 60, and then that's it. There's no more fancy adjustments in this roast, so I won't be able to screw it up like I did in the previous one by forgetting to make a manual adjustment. The only thing I'll need to do manually is to reduce the power on my Variac. The idea is, as I've discovered, sometimes I can have too much power, so if I'm really trying to mimic a previous roast and I let the Variac get much above 120, then my roast will actually go faster than I want. So I've learned to, keep it at around 119 or below, which is where it is right now. And there's no point in overdriving it. Back in the dark ages, when I had no insulation on this roaster, when I roasted
5 degrees.
In the winter time,
5 degrees.
And again, that's a little early because first crack is about 370 on this coffee, so I've got a little bit longer than 5 degrees to go. But what I was saying is, roasting in the wintertime, I would often have a drop off in the temperatures, and so I would actually have to bump up the Variac to try to get the roast to go as fast as I wanted. Now that I've insulated the roaster, that's not really a problem anymore. So I got about 5 degrees to go. Historically, I've only roasted this coffee once. So last time I got first crack around 373. And there's my automatic. Got to push a button on the roaster to keep it going there when it starts beeping at me. Okay, well, I'm not hearing much of anything. So, first crack seems to be a little slower than last time, and I'm just waiting for it to get faster, but okay, I guess it's not going to get much faster. So 10:45, so that was actually 10 seconds slower than before. So now I need to do my calculation of where I'm ending the roast, which is going to be 30 degrees, so it'll be about 406 is what I'm shooting for.
Check variac voltage.
Right, so
Check
I
variac
am
voltage.
reducing my voltage there, because it was a little on the high side. And in the old days, I used to get fancy and zoom in on this area to make sure everything was going according to plan, but now I just actually write down every 30 seconds what my bean temperature is and compare it to the previous roast. So not only am I doing that by looking at the curve, but I'm also, you know, manually checking it to make sure I'm not, you know, falling asleep here at the end of the roast. We've got about one more minute to go. Temperature looks right on target versus last time. So this is one of the best reasons to use software to control a roaster, is so that you don't have to go crazy making bunches of manual adjustments. Unless something starts to go off. I can see that my temp is going up a little. My ET is a little higher than it was before, so I think I will drop something off here. I'm already at 404, so I think I'll just drop the power. Not that that's going to make much difference. I've already hit my drop target, so I'm dropping. So, as you can see here, this roast did accelerate at the end, just a little bit, but so instead of, it only went for 2 minutes and 15 seconds instead of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But, c'est la vie. It's not a science, it's more of an art. So now I'll just save that, boing, and that's the end of the roast.